Hello everyone and welcome to Lesson 1. For this project we're going to discuss Black Lives Matter. If you look at his face you'll recognize him from social media and from TV. He was on the TV and on the news for several months now. This person's name is George Floyd. On May 25 in Minneapolis in America, this person was yet another victim of police brutality. If you remember the story, this person was pinned to the ground and he had the knee of one policeman on his neck and on his head until his last words were, "I can't breathe." Another example and another victim of police brutality in America is Michael Brown. He's 18 years old and he was also shot by the police on August 9, 2014. And if you search the internet, you will find many stories of black people getting brutally arrested and killed by the police just because of their race. Just to give you some statistics, a young black men are 21 times more likely to be killed by the police, and they are 5 times more likely to be imprisoned than white people. And as you know, white people have shown to be much more wealthier and richer than black people. So what is racism? What are the keywords for this lesson? And does racism affect us? I will send you these 4 links on the group chat so you can look them up. And there are some videos that explain racism more and give you more of a demonstration or examples. So what is racism? Racism is simply believing that you are better than someone else just because of their physical appearance. So if I read it here with you, I'll read the second one because it's shorter. You can go ahead and read the first one on your own. Racism is believing that someone is less than someone else, typically one that is a minority. Minority, it means less important. Or marginalized. Marginalized is when you are left out of the society and you are just so different and not accepted in society. We live in a diverse world, meaning that each one of us is different than each other. Okay, each one of us has a different personality and a different race and a different gender and belongs to a different society. So let me explain to you this diversity dimensions. Diversity, it means different, okay, different types of different kinds. So let's start with the outer circle. This is basically your cultural circle. So what is a culture? A culture is the beliefs, the norms, the traditions that go into a certain society. For example, Lebanese culture is different than American culture. Second, we have organizational, the organizational circle. Okay, in this circle, we're talking about different rules, different regulations, different certain policies. For example, like the MEU campus, the Middle East University campus, they have their own rules. They're like an organization or like an institution. Then we have the secondary. Secondary is what actually makes you special or different from other people. For example, like your religion, like your education, like the way where do you live, if you're married or not, the way you look, your appearance, your language, your accent. For example, people who live in Beirut have a different accent or a different dialect than people who live in the north, for example, or in the mountains. Okay, even in America, they vary from state to state. Languages and dialects vary from state to state, even if they are in one country. If we go smaller, we have the primary. The primary circle is what makes you different, looking at the age, okay, looking at your mental and physical ability, what makes you different from the way you think, from the way you look, your gender, whether you're a male, you're a female, your ethnicity is from, for example, what color is your skin, where are you from, race and gender. And the last circle is your identity. What makes you personally different from someone else? And here we're talking about your hobbies, What do you do with your free time? What are your passions? What are you motivated? Your aspirations. It's your identity. How do you solve problems? How do you think? Okay? So what are the keywords that we're going to learn in this lesson? For us to move forward with our lesson, we have to know some words, some technical words that are important. So the first word is culture. Culture is the beliefs, the norms, the traditions, the values that a society has or a system has. For example, the Syrian culture, it's way different than the Lebanese culture. We have many things in common, but they are still different cultures. In Arabic, it's ta'alid or adet. Racist, okay? So we talked about what is racism. Now the racist is the adjective. The racist is a person who judges another person for the way he looks or for his race or for his ethnicity. So a racist is a person who is against someone who he thinks that is minor, a minority, or is marginalized. As I said, marginalized is a person that is not accepted in society. So for example, let me put racist in a sentence or in an example. If you see a person, for example, shouting at an Indian guy who works in a supermarket, okay, and he tells him, "Oh, you're black, you don't know what you're doing." For example, this is a racist. Okay, so he's judging the other person not based on his primary or on his identity. He's judging him based on his race, on the way he looks or where he's coming from. The third word is oppression or discrimination. It's kind of the same word. So this is when someone is under a very harsh treatment or very harsh authority over him. So for example, the black people are discriminated or they are oppressed. So this is the next word. These are adjectives for the nouns that are above them. So oppressed or discriminated, sorry, I'm going to change this for discriminated. It's the state of being subject to oppressive treatment. For example, even in many countries, women are still discriminated or oppressed. So women don't even have the rights and they have authority over them. And they are very treated in an unjust or very unfair way. What is slavery? Slavery يعني عبودية or عبد. Slavery is a condition of having to work very hard without even proper money or without being appreciated, without having basic needs. So slavery is when you have a person that works in your house and you don't even pay him, you shout at him, you're very cruel, you treat him in a bad way. A slave is that person. السليف هو العبد. A slave is a person who is the legal property of another and is forced to obey them. Now, later we're going to look into the history of slavery and we're going to see how black people were sold as slaves. So they used to sell and buy black people just because of their race. Okay, so they can work in someone else's property or place and without even getting paid.